So Andrew, thanks for joining us here at the Hurlingham Club. Just tell us a little bit about what you're doing today.
Yeah, so today I'm having a bit of a paddle lesson. Paddle's a sport I've got into reasonably recently and just love it. You know, it's a great challenge to learn a new skill and to learn a new sport. It's a fantastic, hugely growing sport in this country, and the best thing about it is people of different standards can still have a great game. So excited to be having a lesson. Looking forward to putting on a big paddle event here, the Alfred Dunhill Padel Classic in May, getting a load of sports people, celebrities, and paddle enthusiasts together.
One of your former teammates, Michael Vaughan's part of that lineup as well. Why do you think so many cricketers are starting to get into paddle tennis? We see it a lot, like Joss Butler, Sam Billings, etc.
Yeah, there are lots. I saw Steve Finn the other day when I went and played as well. So I don't know the answer to that. I mean, obviously, when you get to a certain stage in your career, you're always looking for an outlet, things that you can do differently that takes your mind off your cricket. Traditionally, a lot of the guys have played golf, which is fine, but golf takes a long time as well. So I think if you're nearby a paddle court and you've got a regular sort of four, then it's a brilliant sport. Keeps you fit as well and agile alongside that.
Is that ideal for players who have probably retired and looking for that competitive edge still? You've got a paddle court.
Well, I definitely need the competitive edge. Otherwise, I get very grouchy at home and get competitive with my kids, which is not a good thing. So, yeah, I mean, for me, paddle, tennis, and golf, all three of those give me that little bit of a buzz. And it's important. Life is boring without that buzz, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you mentioned about the golf as well. Can you just see people maybe transitioning to paddle as it gets more popular? As at the minute, it's only been maybe the last few years paddles has been on the rise in the UK.
Well, I think more and more people get into it. As I said, I love tennis, but tennis is a harder game to get good at, and it's harder to have different people of different standards together. So paddle, you can have a good game right out the gate almost, and it's a very social game as well. So it is growing massively, and I think it will continue to do so. One of the big sort of limiting factors is availability of courts, and so you know, people building new courts, them being accessible is a crucial component of this. But it's a fantastic game, and that's why it's such a huge sport on the subcontinent, not on the subcontinent, on the continent. You know, in Spain and Sweden, etc., etc. It's a huge sport now.
We saw you practicing for about 40 minutes before chatting to us today. What's the biggest difference between maybe tennis and paddle tennis?
Just slightly different technique, yeah. I mean, I think tennis can take you a certain way in paddle, but paddle, just the way you approach the shots is a bit different. It's not about hitting the ball hard, actually. It's about getting it into the corners and lobbing quite a lot. So I'm sort of fighting against myself a lot on that, trying to play smart paddle rather than aggressive paddle.
If we can talk about the cricket for a second, a lot of the talk, maybe when you retired and in the years after that, is England haven't replaced Sir Andrew Strauss or Sir Alistair Cook, but now in Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley, they look to be a really solid partnership. How pleased are you for them?
Yeah, well, I mean, opening the batting in Test cricket is not easy, and it's even harder, I suppose, in some ways when you're playing an ultra-aggressive style of cricket, which England are determined to do, and rightly so, by the way. So, you know, to have Duckett and Crawley, fantastic combination because they're so different, aren't they? Left hand, right hand, 7'6" and 2'7". So, you know, I think that combination works well, and I think more than anything, both of them now feel comfortable and assured of their place, so it doesn't feel like they're playing for their place every time they go out and bat. So we saw some really good partnerships in the subcontinent this winter. Maybe, you know, they both would have liked to have probably gone and made bigger scores or been a bit more consistent, but that's one big tick in the box for this current England team.
And you've been sort of away from the ECB for just over a year now. You left as strategic advisor. How are you finding the break, I guess, away from cricket? I know you're playing a lot of paddle, for instance. How are you personally?
Yeah, I'm just really enjoying challenging myself in different ways. You know, what I've tried to do is sort of take the experience I've had at the ECB and on the field and try and put it into some of the other pursuits I'm doing. So, I, you know, involved with a couple of businesses, including TCB Sport, that are putting on this event. And, you know, it's a really good thing to learn new skills and challenge yourself. Still very interested in the cricket, but quite frankly, it's nice to have a breather. I mean, you can get too embroiled in the politics of a sport and you sort of get further and further away from what really means a lot in a sport, which is usually sort of the recreational grassroots area. So it's been nice just to be able to step away from the politics and just enjoy it a bit more.
There's been a lot of talk about the growth of padel, obviously, and then growing cricket as a whole, and there's a lot of talk about private investment in TheHundred, for example. Where do you see that moving forward? Because ultimately there's critics about TheHundred, it's here to stay, whatever people say, but ultimately it's about getting cricket popular in England, and if that means outside investment to maintain the health of the game, then so be it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why this is even a conversation point.
Yeah.
I don't know why so many people have a sort of animosity to TheHundred. I mean, TheHundred has the opportunity to underpin the whole of the rest of the game in this country, and as you say, also a huge opportunity to engage a whole new audience in cricket. So that's what it was designed to do, that's what it's doing, and I think the right sort of private investment can really accelerate that as well, and by the way, pay for a lot of counties that are really struggling financially. So there shouldn't be a conversation point, it's just how we do it most effectively and how we focus on growing TheHundred to be I feel it can easily be the second best short form tournament in the world behind the IPL. That for me should be the focus right now.
And how much sort of sympathy do you have, having been in the role of having to fit 4 formats in a 5-month block in the summer? And I guess, how much relieved are you not to be worrying about that anymore and focus on something else?
Yeah, I mean, the schedule's a nightmare, and unfortunately it doesn't seem easy to get any sort of consensus on how best to do it. But if you take it is given that there's going to be a block in the summer for TheHundred, and for all the reasons that I've articulated previously, I still think there are things we can do in terms of the amount of red ball cricket we play and when we play our red ball cricket that we can improve the schedule and make it easier for players. But ultimately they're going to be asked to play a lot of cricket, as they are all year round. And by the way, if we don't do it in this country, they'll be doing it somewhere else in another country as well. So always challenges, and that schedule being the biggest Rubik's Cube of all time, and one that I'm very keen not to be engaged with right at the moment. I've tried my best on that one, and someone else's turn.
And finally, back to the paddle tennis. You've got the Alfred Dunhill Padel Tournament next month. Just tell us, if you can, about some of the names that may be involved next month.
Yeah, so as you say, the cricketers, so the likes of Michael Vaughan are going to be there. We're hoping James Anderson's going to come as well. We've got the likes of Brian Habana, Andrei Shevchenko, so load of ex-sports people who've probably got nothing better to do with their time, Jimmy being the exception. And then a load of paddle enthusiasts coming together for a couple of days of competitive paddle, but also, I think, an opportunity to really bring to life what a great game this is and have a lot of fun along the way.
And just finally, you mentioned Jimmy there, 41 years of age now. He's someone that sort of deserves to decide when he goes out on his own terms, because England, I guess, face a dilemma with the next Ashes coming up in 18 months' time. They need to plan for that, but at the same time, Jimmy is 41 now, so where do you stand on the whole Jimmy?
I mean, I don't think anyone deserves just to go out whenever they fancy it. I think they've got to be contributing and adding value to the team, and Jimmy's obviously done that over a long period of time. He showed that he was still incredibly fit and hungry and motivated this winter. But you're right, I mean, the Ashes is 18 months away now, and we need to make sure that we're ready for that, while at the same time not taking our eye off the ball and still trying to perform this summer. So it's a big summer for Jimmy. He'll have ideas in his mind as to what he still wants to achieve in the game. But it is extraordinary to see him still hungry and motivated and fit and healthy. It's an extraordinary achievement, and one that I can't fathom. I mean, he made his England debut before I did, and here I am playing paddle, and he's still out there bowling. And
just one more about England. You mentioned the winter in India, they lose 4-1. There's a habit in this country, whenever England lose, there's time for a review or rip something up. But is there a danger that England will comfortably beat the West Indies and Sri Lanka, given where they are in Test cricket at the minute, and then sort of paper over the cracks and everything will be, okay, look, we've won 6 tests in the summer, what's the problem?
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose you could equally argue that you shouldn't get carried away on one defeat. I mean, this England team's done brilliantly well over an 18-month period. A huge sort of transformation under McCullum and Stokes. And so one very difficult series in India, where they made India work hard for those victories, I would see as an aberration. But I think they would probably try and take the lessons from that. And the big lesson for me is all up for the aggression. Go out there, take the game to the opposition, put them under pressure, but use your brains as well. There are times where you don't have to take outrageous risks, and I think when England have got it wrong so far, they've probably overplayed their hand in that regard. They'll keep learning and they'll keep improving.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.